What is up, guys? Welcome to another video. That Geeky Guy here, and today we'll be looking at a Katsu deck post uprising. So we have a few upgrades for Katsu, especially with this set being actually revolves around new illusionist cards, and then Ninja did get some tools, not as much as maybe the other two classes, but still pretty decent, especially with the new equipment Shuko and Tide Flippers. Pretty good. So we're going to go through the equipments first, and then we're going to go into the main deck. So for the equipment, Kodachi Scales, Tunic, Mask. So this is an also scaler. So these are the standards. Then we have our Norrøn package. We have gloves, robe, and flippers. So Islander is going to be a bit of annoyance, but with the blues that we have in the deck, it should be enough to actually power through it. So you can actually go with 3 arcane barriers, so it is actually possible to go it now thanks to Tide Flippers being a arcane barrier card. So pretty good. You can even destroy it to give some of your attacks go again. Shuko is another card that I would like to point out. So any card or second attack action with 2 or less base damage each turn has +1. So basically your yellow Hurricane 100 Wind, for example, is going to have a +1, so it's going to be 3. And if you play it as the second attack action, if you play it as the second attack with 2 or less base damage, you get to actually force your opponent not using certain effects such as Crown, because those damage is not going to prevent it. And this is especially useful if you're going against illusionists with their spectral tokens, spectral shield tokens being on board. So it's gonna get actually popped without preventing those damage. So that's pretty useful in those matchups. And also Shuko provides 2 extra blocks, so you can play this against classes that it relies on a reprise, which is basically Dorinthia. That extra 2 armor is gonna really help, especially with the deck going so aggro. So the Ninja deck is pretty straightforward, except for a couple of things. So 3 AEs, 3 CNCs. So you're going to put all the CNCs against Illusionist, against Dromai, similar to Erase Phase. So Erase Phase is pretty useful against classes that really depends on their talent. For example, the Draconic Ninja 5 really depends on creating a bunch of chain links. So Erase Phase, if it hits, it's going to be annoying for them. By removing those talent types, it's gonna be good against illusionists because it's removing all the different illusionist effects. So for example, if they play Dreamweavers, so the next illusionist attack, for example, gonna lose Phantasm. So Erase Phase actually prevents that because the illusionist word doesn't even exist. Next, we have 3 copies of Double Strike. I really like this card. This is basically Kodachi that allows Katsu to trigger his ability. So 3 copies of those. You can even discard this to look for a combo card if you want. Even bigger than that, always good. You can now have the option of actually triggering this off of Double Strike or even Kodachi. So Double Strike. Even bigger than that, trigger, Katsu trigger, and also do some fancy opting on top of that. So really good stuff. 100 wins. I'm playing 1 yellow because of Shuko. You can remove the 1 yellow if you want. I like the blues. I always have been a fan of the blues because of the annoying ones. But we do have Double Strike, which is better in some sense, but this is a blues. You can always pitch that out. 3 copies of Leg Tap, 2 copies of Razors. You can bump it up to 3 if you're comfortable, but I think 2 should be relatively enough. And the illusion of having the 3rd Razor Reflex does instill fear in your opponent. So 2 should be sufficient, but you can go 3 if you want. 3 copies of Flick Flag, always a good defense reaction in Katsu, Ira, and Swords. 5 maybe not much because they don't run combos. 6 copies of Rising Knee, 3 blues, 3 reds. So we strike 1 blue, 2 reds. Take the tempo. It's another new card. Just a quick explanation. So basically what you want to do is hit 3 times. So it can be Kodachi, take the tempo, or it can be Double Strike, Kodachi, take the tempo. As long as you hit 3 or more times with so much 1 damage, it's going to be so annoying for your opponent to block. So take the tempo is going to be a good card to play, especially with the block value of 3. So what happens if you hit 3 times? You can actually banish the top card. Now this works really well with Even Bigger Than That, so make sure the op 3 is used to the fullest advantage, because it is possible that all 3 cards is something that you need, and make sure the arrangement is correct so that you draw into what you want. So you can actually banish, for example, one of the combo pieces, a starter, you put it in a banish zone and just play next turn. Then we have 3 copies of Sink Belows, 2 copies of Snatch, so 6 Surging Strikes. So these are pretty standard, everything. So Whelmings, 6 copy of Whelmings, 2 Art of War, 1 Hurricane, 2 Mugenshis, 1 Lunging Press for those cheeky +1s. So it works off Command Conquer, it works for Erase Phase. So 3 copies of Lord of Wind, 3 copies of Winds of Eternity, and we are going so wide. So Salt the Wound is basically a good card to be had in this deck, and also it blocks for 3, pretty good. So that's pretty much it, guys. That's the deck. So as for the sideboarding, I'm guessing it's pretty self-explanatory. So you're going to want to take out all the Sink Belows against other aggro decks. For example, you want to play against Briar, just put in 3 Flick Flags is enough. You can take out the 3 Sink Belows. When you're going against Warriors, you want to take out cards such as Even Bigger Than That, put in Art of War, and put in all the defense reaction you need. Maybe a reduce on some of the yellows here. For example, I would take out some yellow Surging Strikes, maybe take out 1 against Dory, because sometimes you do want to block against Dory. You don't want to have her having the Domblade counter. On the other hand, if you're playing against Prism, I would really value Go Against. So Go Against are pretty good. I might take the Tempo, because you do want to pop all the illusion all the time. I'm going to put in all the 100 Winds, all the double strikes. Erase Phase is going to go in. Command and Conquer is going to go in, so because you want to pop. So this is a similar game plan to Dromai. So with Dromai, what you want to do is make sure that you want to get your Master Trigger as often as possible by hitting their allies, because hitting their allies does count towards the combat chain of triggering the mask. So that's basically it, guys. Any question, just feel free to drop it down in the comments below. I'm going to put the deck list in a bit. So it's going to be up on my Patreon first. So if you want to have the deck list early, always check out my Patreon. Else you can always watch the video, pause the video at any time. You should be able to get the overview of the deck. So thank you very much for watching, guys, and see you guys in the next one. Do like and subscribe.